Right, so coming back for our last lesson on the perfect tense. As I said, this is going to be the perfect tense with reflexive verbs. So what is a reflexive verb? Just to remember, they are verbs we use with daily routine and feelings. So, je me lève, I wash myself. Je me sens bien, I feel good. Reflexive, okay? Remember to do the reflexive. I'll just use my whiteboard again because you just love it. To do reflexive verbs, reflexive, you are going to use the subject, the reflexive pronoun, so I just write reflexive, and then the verb. Okay, so that was, for example, I wash myself, je me, using the reflexive for me, lave. If you're talking about we, nous is we. The reflexive pronouns for nous is nous as well, nous. Bim, lave in the present tense, you take the stem love and you add the ending, which is ons in the present. But that was a lesson for last week and is already outdated, isn't it? You already know that. So nous l'avons, that was the reflexive as we learned last week. Now we are going to learn the reflexive for the perfect tense. So here we are. So the reflexive with the perfect tense, all reflexive verbs, all of them, all the verbs that you would use in the reflexive, they are going to be used with the auxiliary être. So remember, our perfect tense is built like this, subject plus auxiliary. Yes, I know I'm quite repetitive, but that's on purpose because the more I repeat it, hopefully the better you'll learn that. So subject, auxiliary, and past participle. Yeah, so basically always going to, so with reflexive, it's always going to be with être. Always, so for example, what are reflexive verbs? So laver, je me lave, coiffer, I comb my hair, je me sens, c'est se feel, je me sens bien. All these verbs there, they're always going to be with être, even if they're not part of the Mrs. Van der Trump. They are, there's just a rule, reflexive verbs used with être. There we are. And now the reflexive verbs, when do you put them in the sentence? How does it work? Your reflexive pronoun is always going to stay close to the auxiliary. Okay. So always, it's like they are making a pair. So if you take, for example, a normal verb, je suis allé. Okay. Remember, je suis allé, you would have the verb, the subject, auxiliary, and past participle. If you want a reflexive verb, so for example, laver. I guess I could take another word every now and then, but very nice. Try it with this one. Laver, you have je suis lavé. If you follow the perfect, if you follow the perfect rule, lavé, there we are, removing the er, adding e accent. Right, je suis lavé, except that it's a reflexive, so you're going to add the reflexive pronoun for je, which is me, me, and you're going to add it in front of your auxiliary, so je me suis lavé. There you are, je me suis lavé. And then the same agreement rule is going to work, of course, because we are with être as an auxiliary. So remember the rule, when you're using être as an auxiliary, is that you are going to agree the past participle with the subject. That was the rule with être. And oh, I just realized that I actually forgot to draw you a little arrow of agreement. So I'll just add it under the comment of the agreement lesson. Right, je me suis lavé, agreeing this with the subject. So here, je is me, I'm a girl, therefore I'm going to say je me suis lavé, with the e at the end. And that is basically it. Now, a quick difficulty for you. If you want to add the reflexive, so you want to use the perfect tense for a reflexive verb in the negative form, why not? Did you wash yourself? No, I haven't washed myself. You could say that. Okay, so how do you say that? So you have je me suis lavé. That we decided was I washed myself or I cleaned myself. And then if you want to say it in the negative, you would add the sandwich, the negation sandwich, in between the verb group. So not the whole verb group. I mean, it's like the auxiliary and the reflexive. Okay, so the reflexive, remember, it always stay cuddles with the auxiliary. That's what I said in the last whiteboard. So these ones are always going to be together. So if you want to add the ne pas in the middle of something, remember, if you're doing a normal perfect, you would put it in between the auxiliary, but since these ones are too cuddled, you can say je ne me suis pas lavé. Okay, it's like a big puzzle. But the thing is, you have the subject plus the negative plus the reflexive verb plus your auxiliary plus the negative plus the past participle. It's a bit like maths. If you can learn the formula, then you'll get points. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, the perfect in itself is not complex. The reflexive in itself is not complex. The negative in itself is not complex. But a sentence with the negative, reflexive, and perfect tense at the same time, you would definitely get point for that. And that would be a complex structure. Okay, that is definitely a complex structure. So that would definitely give you points. So it is worth just putting a post-it note and you know, adding it to the rest of the post-it note that you have already invaded your house with. I'll let you do your booklet, and then as usual, just let me know if you have any question, because that's what I'm here for. Anytime, any day, just not in the middle of the night. Otherwise, I'll answer to you as quickly as possible. Speak soon, guys, and good luck with all this.